CNBC TV18 presents A Hybrid Workplace, the future of business, powered by Zoom.
Hello and welcome to another episode of CNBC TV18 presents A Hybrid Workplace, the future of business, powered by Zoom. I'm your host Gautam Srinivasan, and today we will explore how financial institutions are becoming more resilient to deliver better customer experiences. Amid surging virtual interactions and transactions due to the pandemic, CX has taken giant strides to overtake price and product as a key brand differentiator. The focus now seems to be shifting from just optimizing customer touchpoints to delivering a richer engagement between the customer and the entirety of an enterprise, any place, anytime, anyway. For the highly regulated financial services space, this challenge is especially daunting. Customers seek the comfort and security of the human connection when dealing with concerns or queries, but at the same time, they want fast, easy, and accessible services across their channel of choice. Now, not being able to balance this effectively can dent both customer service and brand reputation. Our session today will focus on how companies reimagine CX and transform digital engagement in this hybrid world by creating an agile work environment that uniquely applies technology in crafting innovations that elevate customer experience to new heights. Our panel today features Durga Prasad Swaminathan, CIO at Cholamandalam Investment and Finance, Rakesh Kaul, Chief Distribution Officer at Edelweiss General Insurance, Abhijit Shah, Chief Technology Officer at Nippon India Mutual Fund, Dhanasekaran S, CTO at Bellstar Microfinance Limited, and Samir Raje, General Manager and Head of India at Zoom. Thank you everyone for joining us on this talk on reimagining CX and transforming digital engagement in the hybrid world. And Samir, let's start with you. As financial institutions embrace this new reality of hybrid work and the hybrid consumer, how can the technology behind it power better experiences for both employees and customers? What changes, in your opinion, are going to stay in terms of interactions in the post-pandemic world?
Well, Gautam, you in your opening remarks, you brought in a very valid point, right? I mean, customers are seeking connect, a human connect, which is any place, anywhere, anytime, and the convenience and the ease of use. And there are so many things. So just imagine going back to the old age where there is no video, or you are stuck on old devices and you are unable to do any of this, right? Or rather, if we are going about talking about mobile devices, think about being on an old legacy Nokia mobile phone, and in a lockdown you would be playing the same Snake game, and it would have continued for a long time, right? So we are not going back there, obviously. If you look at even people in the remote villages today, they are today sending a voice message instead of typing the message and sending it across. They are recording a voice message and sending it across. What does this mean? There is a connect. There is a voice element to it. Similarly, there is a video element to it. People are recording videos and sending it across. So that's the future that's going ahead. And now what has happened is, technology has been embraced by users across in various formats, various shapes. Of banking, if we talk about, be it KYC, be it customer support, be it call center, be it internal IT support, or be it HNI or NRI bankings, right? Even in the rural market, if there was time when people used to go to collect their monthly installments and so on and so forth. Now, a lot of it is moving to a virtual world where engagements and all those things are happening over video. So this technology is here to stay. It's no longer about being hybrid or being virtual. It's more about the connect and the convenience of getting that human element anytime, any place, anywhere, as you mentioned.
All right, the connect and the convenience, of course, keeping in mind the human experience. Well, a lot has changed in the financial services space, and that was even before the pandemic, but we saw the pandemic accelerating many trends. So let's look at what happened in the mutual fund industry first. Abhijit, we'll come to you. From the mutual fund space, everything from onboarding to transactions to exit has changed from a CX point of view. So I want to understand from you, how is Nippon India Mutual Fund navigating this new normal, especially considering the scale issue, with investor interest recovering during the pandemic, as more than 81 lakh investor accounts were added in 2020-21, which takes the total tally to nearly 10 crores. Your thoughts?
Thank you. So I think even before the pandemic, the machinery was ready for the digitization. I think we were absolutely ready and prepared with our digital assets to onboard the customers very quickly and in a seamless manner. I think the new normal that is forming, it's about the hybrid consumers who are uh, kind of moving away from physical to phygital and completely to digital. I think, and then technology is certainly going to be the core for us. Uh, but the important point is, I think it's very important to make it extremely personal without being in person. Uh, that's going to be the game changer. I mean, deep hyper personalization, not restricting to, say, for example, some similarity based recommendation engines, but understanding the real time context of the customer and the ecosystem around him to make a very targeted and differentiated experience. That's going to be the crux of how we kind of deal with the customer and make it more stickier for them. The level of personalization going forward will define how much a brand really cares for its customers.
Mutual funds, let's look at what's happening in the world of insurance. Rakesh, I'll come to you for that. It's been a 3-year journey so far for Edelweiss General Insurance. So there was, in a sense, no transition from going physical to online because of the pandemic, as you were digitally native. Now, considering the point with Abhijit raised that for them, the journey was, physical to digital to phygital. I want to understand from you, considering you are digitally native, how did the company use that to its advantage by investing in the right digital capabilities to improve omnichannel CX and deliver a consistent experience across its channels to grow its customer base from, I believe, 40,000 to 1.6 million last year? Tell us about your story.
Thank you so much. I think we were prepared, and not because we were expecting a pandemic, but we always, in our vision, wanted to be a completely digital organization. And I think the pandemic kind of tested us out in terms of whether we are really prepared or whether we are ready to ensure that the consumer is not impacted, come what may. And the biggest example of that would be the contact center, and where employees kind of work out of one workplace. And that for us was the defining factor when, even when the pandemic hit us or during the lockdown, not even a single minute, not even a single second, the contact center was down. We were up and running 24/7. Every consumer query that came during the pandemic was dealt the way it would have been dealt in a normal scenario. Now, for any organization to envisage, going into the digital world, it is very important that they look internally first on their products as well as services. And for Edelweiss GI, we always felt that digital products, internet-based products or mobile app-based products were the future. And during the pandemic, we launched a product called Edelweiss Switch, which primarily gave the ability to the consumer to switch on and switch off the insurance. And most of our consumer feedback was that when I'm not using my car 365 days, why should I be paying premium for 365 days? So we launched India's first auto insurance, which was a subscription-based model. And we, in our vision, believe that the insurance will start taking that route of subscription-based model, embedded products being available in the micro moment journeys of other products and services that are offered to the consumer.
All right, from sachetization of products to sachetization of service, technology is providing companies the flexibility to respond to consumer demands, and Switch is a great example there as to how a consumer feels that they are in control of the insurance product that they operate in. Great example there. Let's move on from insurance to the broader finance space. And Durga Prasad, I'll bring you on this. I read an interview earlier where the company was expecting to look at 3 broad areas of growth, Cholamandalam, including improving in frontline sales productivity and growth, talent management, and adding more customer value with fewer resources. Now, in the context of the third point, how is Cholamandalam integrating personalization into the end-to-end business model to differentiate itself from its peers? Considering that we have entered the era of embedded finance, how do you make financial interactions seamless and invisible to a typical user journey successfully, considering access to customer information is still an unpredictable landscape? So your thought on this, Durga Prasad?
It's an interesting question. And I think the way Chola has been looking at it is, I would say, from three different blocks. One, and like Samir mentioned, we have the users coming across through different set of devices. And on the other end of the spectrum, what we have is a data platform. So which gives us ability to say, can I identify a customer and maybe the profile of the customer, and maybe see based on that profile, what is the targeted experience I want to deliver. And that's where the third block comes into picture, which is basically the digital technologies that connect the device on one hand to the data and the personalization layer at the other end of the spectrum. And what we have done as part of this exercise is making sure whether it is our own folks who help in the assisted journey for our customers, or customers directly when they come through a direct channel, the data platform comes into play to say, okay, how do I ease the journey, whether it is on part of that onboarding process as a lending organization, or as part of the servicing and the collections lifecycle of that process. So a lot of that has been done in terms of, say, targeting, elimination of paper-based pieces within the whole journey exercise, as well as increasing options for customers to interact, get services, whether through voice, video, or web channels. And ultimately, from a collections or payment perspective, give them more and more options, move away from cash.
Absolutely. And it's interesting to see how sectors are also learning from each other in terms of improving CX, because it's not uncommon that what works in one space could work in another space if the understanding of the customer is there. All right, from broader finance to microfinance, let's see what's their story. Dhanasekaran, the last time we spoke, you described how that when you are operating from more than 650 branches and employees numbering over 5,000, it is critical for you to connect with end customers who belong to the unbanked category at least once a month. So how did Belstar leverage, say, new video capabilities to communicate directly to individual consumers and have more meaningful and engaging interactions? Your thoughts on this?
Thank you, Gautam. We launched a new customer application called Samriddhi Applications, which is a customer fronting application. So these applications we launched during the pandemic. Pandemic is one of the era which created a lot of necessity to initiate, deliver new channels to meet the customer expectation. So one such initiative was Samriddhi. So using that Samriddhi app, we are delivering various kind of smaller notifications, communications to the customers, how they can able to address certain issues without coming to our office. And then we are slowly trying to integrate or deliver video-based messages. So we are in the early stage. However, we realized that there is a lot of demand to communicate with the customers through a video mode. So the work has already started.
CNBC TV18 presents a hybrid workplace, the future of business, powered by Zoom.
We are seeing video becoming increasingly part of that engagement between enterprises and customers. So let's see if that's how that pans out for others as well. Rakesh, what are some of the use cases of video capabilities being used across, say, sales, customer engagement, and support channels that have delivered excellent results for your organization?
So video essentially is becoming the larger consumption route for content, and coming from insurance segment, we usually end up with a 15-page document in font size 12, which kind of goes to the customer and nobody ends up reading it. For us, we've come out with a format called video policy, which kind of explains the features of the products to the consumer. Once he's bought a policy from us, it kind of tells customer what to take care of and what not to take care of, what gets covered and what does not cover. So one, it builds transparency in the product that you have offered, and more or less most of the consumers understand the product much more better than what they would have understood from a piece of paper.
All right, let me get in Samir for his thoughts on this. Samir, Zoom's Video Engagement Center was announced a few months ago to provide the framework that allows companies to deliver a better customer experience. We are seeing video as an interaction channel rise from 41% in 2019 to reaching 57% by the end of the year, according to a research study. So what are some of the unique video use cases you are seeing globally and in India using video communication? Rakesh provided us with one example. We're looking forward to more global use cases and India use cases from you as well, Samir.
What we are seeing is very unique and probably is not there in any other part of the world, which is, first and foremost, if you talk about the rural areas where we are looking at NBFCs and even banks trying to establish their points of presence. And when it is a points of presence, it could be a simple kiosk where somebody is just walking into either a reseller agent or a broker, and trying to connect back with the product team, as it was mentioned, just to understand the policy maybe, right? And that's such a unique case where somebody just walks in and chooses to interact back with the service provider in terms of what the policy is, what the features are, what the functions are, so on and so forth. Going to what you rightly mentioned, like video engagement center, or to the extent of somebody trying to reach for support. Hey, I'm in the middle of a crisis. I need to enhance my policy to increase my medical coverage. Just imagine that happening over a video and the customer able to choose and interact with the support agent rather than just doing an audio or chat only, right? So these are some of the kind of very unique cases coming up in India, which very, very different. On the other hand, if you look at the urban part and and the fully developed banking or even high net worth individuals, non-resident Indians, that's where again you're finding it difficult to interact with them, go and meet them in person, and suddenly there is you have your phone banking application or you have your own app where video is already embedded into it, and you're empowering the customer to call back his relationship manager at the touch of a button. These are some of the fantastic use cases, and that's just empowering the customers more and more, and that's happening in both the segments, that is whether it is urban or whether it is rural, and that's the best thing about it.
Well, let's look at the employee experience as well as we look to head into the last leg of the conversation. I'll bring Rakesh into this. Rakesh, currently financial institutions, they're taking their employees on a digital journey. They're equipping them with relevant tools to function and ensuring that they're future ready. So what technology and collaborative tools are you using to shape the employee experience in the new normal?
So, primarily insurance being a traditional ecosystem, and where technology over the last couple of years has kind of leapfrogged. We also looked at how you can imbibe the tech platforms that come into the employee lifecycle engagement. So today, as an employee or as a distribution partner at the front end, today my onboarding, right from the process of license creation to delivery to consumers to services to customers, are built on our own platform. We've built our in-house platform called Edge, which enables our distributors, our employees, our operations team to deliver the services to the consumer at the front end. What we've also done is we've looked at what are the kind of policies, HR policies, that we run internally as an organization. One of the big factors and one of the really talent attraction policies that we launched last year was work from anywhere. And insurance as a segment or financial services never looked at employees being able to work from anywhere. And that as a concept is now helping us attract a lot of talent. Currently, more of our employees work from the locations they desire. So, one of them could be sitting at a beach in Goa and coding for us, and the other could be sitting out of office or somebody working from their home. So I think not just the platforms that you offer to your employees, but the policies that drive them to use those platforms also will define how you engage with your employees, how they feel secure, how they feel trusted, and how they will feel taken care of in the post-pandemic era.
It's time to wrap up this episode of CNBC TV 18 Presents a Hybrid Workplace, the Future of Business, powered by Zoom. I'd like to thank all the panelists for sharing their thoughts and experiences and, of course, insights on today's topic. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in and asking your questions. Till next time, this is Gautam Srinivasan signing off. Have a great day.
CNBC TV 18 presents a hybrid workplace, the future of business, powered